Greetings and welcome back to Photon Bricks, and apologies for any loud noises in the background. There's been fireworks going off all night here tonight. Long-term viewers may remember I have this 8-stud wide gap here because I had to add 8 studs of pavement over there to fit that ride in there. And I didn't have an exact plan for that. I was pondering a key cutters, but wouldn't you know it, a new solution has presented itself. So this is going to be a slightly different video from what I've done so far. Certainly not something I expected to be doing at this stage in my YouTube journey. Do people still make response videos anymore? I suppose you could call it that. Basically, a week ago as I record this, Robin Hood Bricks, one of my favourite Lego YouTubers, you must go and watch his stuff, he posted a video called NFC, Nottingham Fried Chicken, that is an 8-stud wide building and would fit that gap perfectly. And I made a comment along the lines of, I love it, I have a similar size gap to fill, but I never would have come up with that. To which he said, oh, feel free to open a franchise. I double checked, are you giving me permission, sir? And he said yes. You know what? Can't really say no when someone like Robin Hood Bricks says that, can you? So today we are going to be filling this gap with my own version of Nottingham Fried Chicken. But before we do that, we'll take one last look at Unlucky Fried Kitten here, which is probably going to go now, while I tell you, you really must go and watch Robin's original video. I'm going to link to it in the description down below, and I'm going to make sure you all go and watch that. In fact, I insist you watch that first. I'm not even going to point at any Lego until you've watched it. I'm just going to point at this boring blind here. Go and watch it now. Go on, the link's down below. Right, did you watch it? Are you sure you watched it? Because if you didn't watch it, I'm going to sneak into your house while you're asleep and I'm going to scatter D4s all around your bed. And if you don't know what D4s are, here's some D4s. 4-sided dice. I mean, this one, that's made of metal. Look at that. You think stepping on Lego is bad? That's got nothing on one of these babies. I never understood that anyway. I've never stepped on Lego because I know where I put my Lego. Anyway, on to the ground floor build, shall we? So, I'm not going to go through all the details. I'm just going to highlight what's different on mine compared to the original one from Robin, because otherwise, well, you've seen it already, haven't you? You just said you had. So, one thing I have added to the ground floor here is the Gravy-O-Matic. So, as you can see, there's one longer pipe here that comes down from up above, and that collects all the meat juices from the grill pan in the cooker above. And on the right here, there's a shorter pipe, and that is connected to the meat grinder here. This is my interpretation of the meat grinder. Made it more like a shredder with cogs. And that collects all the leftover bits that aren't good enough to go into the fried chicken. So, you know, all the gristle and the bones and the beaks and the sinew and the claws and stuff like that, and all gets processed and glooped together, and the mixture is controlled here, and it gloops out into that bucket, and that is where the gravy comes from, because you can't have fried chicken without gravy, can you? So most of the rest of it is very similar to the original, so I'm not going to bore you with copying too much of that, but we have that there with a counter. We have a chef there, and he goes like that. We have one of my favourite rats, because I love me a rat, and he goes somewhere on, let me get him on there first, then the chef goes on. Yeah, there we go, they can share the same space there. And now we get the front wall on, sorry, not the camera. And I've tried to keep to the spirit of the original design. I've slightly changed the layout because of the giant gravy machine on the inside. I've also had to move the front wall forward slightly there, just to get a bit more space. As you can see, I'm building this on an 18 by 32 base plate to modularise it. But I'm sticking with the original Robin idea of having empty walls at the side to maximise the interior space. And as you can see here, we have got some extra decoration there in the form of these brick-built chickens. I forget what set they came with. Might have been the medieval market thingy. But that, so far, is the ground floor. Well, for the first floor, which we all know is where the cooker is that cooks the chicken, here's what I'm doing. I'm going for more of an old-looking building on the front. I don't want this to be an identical build. This is going to be more of an older building that's been taken over by the franchise. But as you can see, we've still got the cooking chicken on there. I'm not going as far as the light brick, I'm afraid. I've put one of those multi-barred plates in the bottom there, underneath the roasting chicken. And if you look on the left, there's some grill pieces, and that's where all the meat juice, the good parts of gravy, will drain down into the gravy-making machine. The sides I've just gone for basic grey to make it look like a stainless steel interior of some cookery. All kitchens are stainless steel on the inside as far as I'm concerned. We've kept the temperature gauge. I've gone for some nice stuff around the windows with the multiple ingots. And for the chimney, I've used another one of these curved chrome pieces that I had a few of. And I didn't have a brown feather piece to use as a smoke, I'm afraid, but I did have black. So I guess the chicken here must be burning. Either that or they still haven't decided on the next chicken pope. So that layer goes on there. And the next layer is the chopping layer, or the beheading layer, or the processing layer. And I didn't have any of those lovely meat cleaver pieces, but I did have a lot of daggers. So I put them on a helicopter blade turntable. And as you can see, we've got a chicken falling just down from the layer above to its doom. And that is that layer there. Finally, for the top layer, we have the lovely chicken keeping area with a few chickens in there and some chicken leavings on the floor. And I've also put in a robot arm to try and get a shot of it. A multiple jointed robot arm with some claws to pick up the chickens, put them on the stun gun, and then throw them down the hatch. Just so they're not like being kicked around too much, you know, it's just like very quick and easy for the chickens. And that goes on there, and I think I'm going to have to adjust the camera. Now, next for the roof layer, I've decided here, as you can see, there you go. I've decided here to give it more of a sort of pointed roof, but I still wanted to keep the hopper, and I've managed to build it into the sloped roof, and I'm quite chuffed with that. There you can see the hopper comes out there. So the chicken delivery hopper goes on top there. And before we put the sign on, because this is of course an officially licensed franchise, before we put the big branding sign on, there's something else I want to add, because I think I've solved the problem of how to get chickens from the ground floor into this hopper at the top. And I was initially thinking of having some kind of sloped conveyor belt coming up from the ground floor, but I couldn't work out a way of doing it. But I think now I have. So let's see what happens when we put on the mechanical chicken delivery system. So here we are around the back of the building. As you can see, there's a few places here where we can add in some footers like this to make room for some supports. But first we'll get in a little bit of theming with some bins there and a bit of rubbish in the bins, and we'll pop in another rat there, because you know me, I love my rats. And now, as I said, these are footers, and what are they footers for? Supports for the chicken delivery conveyor belt, of course. So we've got the first one there. These will be facing the wall, which is why we've got the ugly side facing the camera currently. And these will be supporting this, the chicken delivery conveyor belt. As you can see, it has Robin's favourite play feature on it there. And the underside of one of these conveyor pieces, I'll put some of those hollow fuselage pieces in there. Just a couple of plates on there, a little bit of a slope there, and let's see if I can get this on camera. Back one on there. front one on there, then that slope lines up there, then these clip on there, and what we have, and this will be flush up to the wall here, by the way. So what we have here is a chicken delivery conveyor. Got some chickens here. So let's start a chicken back there. Can we see that? Yes. So let's see what happens as I turn the knob. One more chicken in the coop. I think that might work quite well. But here's the reason why this took me so long to do. We've got one more thing to add, and that one more thing is the official franchised Nottingham Fried Chicken NFC with the Duplo chicken. This is what makes it official. I may have to attach this one off camera or just cut. And this is what my final Nottingham Fried Chicken franchise looks like. So for the bottom we have very similar build to the original, but mirror image with the door on the left, and we have different interior with the extra gravy collector. We've got these two brick built chickens for decoration there. We've got the burnt chicken smell coming out there. Still got the same grinder there. We've got the chicken coop up top. We've got the same signage because it is an official franchise. And then, as you can see around the side, we have the chicken delivery conveyor going off into the distance. And I've got an idea about where that might have come from, but we'll get to that when I put it into the town. Which is what I have to do next, really, because I still have not tried this in place and I've no idea what it's going to look like. So I guess that's what's next. Oh, would you just look at that. That fits in there very nicely, if I do say so myself. The ground floor works, blends in quite well between the two buildings either side of it. I was worried it would stick out too far, but I think it works well. The brick style works well. The roof doesn't overpower or tower over too much either side. And the chicken conveyor, I found a way to make them all stand up on little clear dishes. And that, with the, of course, the giant Duplo chicken on the Nottingham Fried Chicken sign. That is the official franchise. Thank you again to Robin Hood Bricks for letting me use it. Please go and watch his video. He is a legend. Couldn't have done it without him. Thank you. And of course, the chicken delivery conveyor belt goes off into the distance in the wall that way. And if we follow the road down here and look at the compass points on the roundabout, we'll see that that way is north. And Northleigh is on the south coast of England. So if that's heading north, I guess that could be heading all the way to Far Corner Farm in Brick Nottingham, because where else are you going to get the freshest chicken deliveries from? I don't have a farm, but there you go. That's my tie back to the original franchise in Nottingham, or Brick Nottingham rather, is have the conveyor belt bringing them all the way from Far Corner Farm. So I think that looks amazing. That fits in so much better than I could have even dreamed of. I'm chuffed with that. Well. We start down here at ground level with the bus station and the kiddie rides in the foreground, and the Junglist Mirror Maze back in place. The Nottingham Fried Chicken franchise with its giant chicken, giant Duplo chicken, is still clearly visible, towering over everything. In fact, those chickens will have a great view of the fair. But that, I think, is quite a nice building. I'm really pleased with that. And it's not even hidden either. That has turned out brilliantly. Yeah, I am chuffed. And the gap has been filled quite nicely. So, once again, a massive thank you to Robin Hood Bricks for allowing me to use his branding in an official franchise of his build. I hope that I've done it justice, mate. Cheers. And big thank you to everyone else. It's been a bit of a different video this week. Normal service will be resumed ASAP. I've still got a whole load more work to do all the way around there and all the way over there, putting stuff back together. Plenty more stuff to come as I rebuild the town of Northleigh and the Northleigh Goat Fair after a whole summer of repainting the spare room. So, a final thank you to Robin Hood Bricks and a thank you to all of you. You know how to follow me if you want to. I'm not going to tell you the obvious. Bye. Come on. Do rat stuff.